Alright, hi class. Today we're going to be learning about Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. To start with, let's look at these two images and see what we can figure out from them. Do we know who this is? Do we know where this picture was taken? Do we know what this thing up here says? Well, I have it down here, but did you know what this picture was from? Right, and here we have our title slide. And here are our standards for this. And our learning objectives, English. The students will be able to provide a deeper understanding of the Nazi Party's rise to power. The students will also be able to analyze and explain the Holocaust. Here's our Bloom's and DOK. We use DOK levels 3 and 4, and Bloom's analyze, apply, and understand. Pre-assessment. Okay, so for our pre-assessment today, there's a multiple choice quiz uploaded to our Google Classroom. You guys can go on there and fill it out. It should take you about 5 minutes. It's only about 10 or so questions, just to help determine how much you already know about this topic. Let's go through some vocabulary. So our first vocabulary word, or vocabulary, is totalitarian state. A state that recognizes no limit on its authority in any sphere of public or private life and extends that authority to whatever length it considers feasible. Next, we have the Nuremberg Laws, which are two race-based measures depriving Jews of rights. It's also called the Law of the Reich Citizen and Law for the Protection of German Blood and German Honor. Then we have Lebensraum, which was a policy created by Nazi Germany that involved expanding German territories to the east to provide land and material resources for the German people, while driving out Jewish and Slavic people. Examples of this will be shown later, but it's Germany trying to invade Poland. Germany also had a lot of issues with France, so they tried to invade France as well. Then we have the Treaty of Versailles. This is the treaty that formally ended World War I, and the terms of the treaty required Germany to pay financial reparations, disarm their military, give up the territory that they had taken, and to give up their overseas colonies. And then militarism, which is the belief that a country should maintain a strong military capability and be prepared to use it aggressively to defend or promote the interests of the nation, which eventually leads Germany into World War II. Then we have our essential question, which is, how did the rise of Nazi Germany lead to the Holocaust and the outbreak of World War II? We have some notes. Who were the Nazis and who was Hitler? The Nazi Party was one of the right-wing extremist political groups that emerged in Germany following World War I, which was led by Adolf Hitler. Hitler made promises of leadership and rebuilding of Germany's economy to the working and middle class, which appealed to the people's ideas of national pride, honor, and militarism. Also, everything had basically been destroyed during World War I, and they were broke because of the financial reparations they had to pay. So all of these promises Hitler made seemed pretty promising to all these working class citizens who were being starved and were just in terrible conditions, basically. Then we have the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi for short. Hitler staged an uprising after forming this, called the Beer Hall Putsch, which failed and resulted in Hitler being thrown in jail. However, while in jail, he writes Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, which is an account for his movement and ideology, including ideas like the superiority of the Aryan race, Hitler's plan for Aryan world rule, and the guilt of the Jews as the destroyers of the world. This also included his foreign policy goals, or Lebensraum. Basically, Hitler blamed the Jews for World War I, like losing World War I, and in a sense blamed the Jews for all the money that they lost, all the damages to their country, everything. Said it was all their fault. And then Hitler eventually becomes Chancellor of Germany when the Reich President Hindenburg dies. Hitler became the sole ruler of Germany. The Nazis then go on to create a totalitarian state. I can never say it correct. But basically, Hitler just swoops in, becomes besties with the Reich president, and he dies suddenly, and he takes his place. It's very interesting. The Holocaust. The Holocaust is the systematic killing of over 6 million Jews and millions of others by Nazi Germany. I believe the total of people died was around 10 to 12 million, I want to say. And including that is 6 million Jews. Included in that is 6 million Jews. Next, we have the assault against Jews that began with boycotting Jewish businesses and quickly increased in oppression and violence. A week before the first concentration camp was established, Dachau. So basically, what this is saying is a week before the boycotting of Jewish businesses began, the first concentration camp opened and was named Dachau Camp. And then in September of 1935, we have the Nuremberg Laws, which became the main anti-Jewish legislation and were used to segregate Jews and the Aryan race. Some of these laws were that Jews couldn't marry non-Jews. They weren't allowed to converse anymore, I believe. They shut down all Jewish businesses. Jews had to wear the Star of David, just things like that. On November 9th, 1938, Kristallnacht took place. The Nazi Party and others burned synagogues and looted Jewish homes and businesses. This event marked a significant escalation in the persecution of Jews in Nazi Germany. Around 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and taken to concentration camps, and a lot of wives and children were hurt in this process as well. How did this lead to World War II? Aggressive expansionism, treaty violations, and the invasion of Poland. We're going to start with aggressive expansionism. Hitler pursued an aggressive foreign policy aimed at territorial expansion, driven by the desire to create a greater Germany and to acquire more living space for the German people, or the Aryan race, basically, which was called Lebensraum. Basically, he was trying to annex into countries around him to create enough space to form this perfect Aryan race and keep them all in one area. But eventually, he wanted to take over the entire world with his Aryan race. We have treaty violations. Hitler's regime violated several agreements, such as the Treaty of Versailles. He rearmed Germany, created a military, and annexed territories like Austria and Czechoslovakia, which went against our earlier talked about Treaty of Versailles agreements. The invasion of Poland, which was the direct trigger of World War II, it was taken place on September 1st, 1939. When entering Poland, many Polish Jews were captured and sent to concentration camps or murdered on the spot. Concentration camps were built in Poland to house the Jewish people, including Auschwitz-Birkenau, Treblinka, and many more. So, the project that we're going to be doing today, our assignment, we will be creating a cartoon foldable with pictures and text to demonstrate an understanding of topic. You can pick any of the things that we've talked about: militarism, Hitler himself. You can pick Lebensraum, whatever ideology we've talked about. You can pick multiple, or if it's something else that you know about that we didn't talk about today, you're more than welcome to do it. But you're going to create a cartoon foldable and send me a video of it on Google Classroom. And then for our formative assessment, we're going to have an assessment due next Friday. Each student will either pick a person or event that took place during this time period, research, analyze, and use evidence to educate yourself and the other students in class using a video presentation of at least 3 to 5 minutes in length. This will be uploaded to Google Classroom. For example, I did one on Eva Moses Core, who is an identical twin to Miriam. They were both subjects of Dr. Mengele's, or the Angel of Death's, twin experiments at Auschwitz-Birkenau. And that is all. That's our essential question. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Google Classroom and let me know. Thank you.